Welcome back as usual to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now and you're new to my channel, I'm Aspie. I welcome you with open arms. Just a brief introduction before I begin this is I'm all about creating mental health and awareness versus just sharing my life stories and experiences with Asperger's syndrome, along with tips and advice to just give you the lowdown on how I manage my condition, as well as whatever else that comes under that umbrella with my Asperger's syndrome. I also do the lowdown of also basically, despite the tips and advice of managing the step by step, I also create some video series based on the encouragement series of any other everyday topics that we go through in our life, of our personal struggles, losing friends, family, losing a job, maybe you're struggling with just the motivation and you need some inspiration. I'm your girl, hopefully to support and encourage you all in a way to uplift you all and just uproot you all, just to support you in the best way I can with despite my personal struggles with what I go through every day. It's all about, obviously, as I keep saying, I can't stress it enough in my channel, to try and be as user-friendly and supportive as possible, obviously to support people around that needs it in that time of need, regardless, because we don't know who needs it the most when we do tend to hide away, as sometimes I believe that some of the things that we go through in our life is internal struggles versus the outer struggles. We may not be able to see it on the outside, or shall we say the inside, but we can see the outer struggles, but there could be some other cause of concern to just look into to why they're acting the way they are. Maybe. So without further ado, guys, basically I'm doing some more mental health series at the moment, so I will hopefully do what I was hoping to do in the next few bits over. So this one's all about postpartum depression. Obviously, as many of these mental health and awareness series, as you're aware, they're broken down into different parts, so it's easier to follow, easier to understand for you all. And hopefully you'll learn something along the way with me, basically, of what I share with you all. And just as a disclaimer out there before I begin this, as always, I'm no medical doctor. As said, I'm just pretty much just a normal average girl that's going through my own personal struggles, and hopefully with these signs and symptoms that you may see, basically, that rings alarm bells, seek professional help or advice for yourself or your loved one. I do not condone anyone to do self-harm, so therefore, as I said, seek professional help. As the sooner the better. So, and no further ado, guys, basically, in the first part of my series, basically, I was talking about what is postpartum depression, the symptoms, and the causes. Obviously, in that first part, I forgot to add in some bits, but they will be under the description if you want to read on further of what I forgot to add for those risk factors, basically, which is, not risk factors, I should say causes, because I'm leading on to part 2 now, which is the risk factors. So hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from. So let's begin this before we run out of time. So as we know, basically, as I said before, with these, risk factors, causes, or what have you, we need to be in mind, basically, that it will vary from person to person, and to remove that myth that it's only for women that obviously suffers this condition of postpartum depression, because no way Jose, is actually males also. Okay, we need to be in mind also, while this isn't clearly understood to why it's happening or the actual possible causes or what have you, there are a number of factors that may have been suggested to increase the risk for people that does suffer PPD. I'm going to shorten it down. So, first and foremost is prenatal depression or anxiety. Okay, number 2 is your personal family history of depression. Moderate to severe, premenstrual symptoms for females. Obviously, the maternity baby blues, birth-related psychological trauma, birth-related physical trauma, basically previous stillbirth, which miscarriages, premenstrual symptoms, formula feeding rather than on the breast, obviously cigarette smoking, low self-esteem, childcare or life stresses around you, unplanned unwanted pregnancies could start this up, elevated prolactin levels, oxytocin depletion, and more. You got to be in mind of these risk factors, however, above shared are known to correlate to one another, basically, and that this correlation isn't, casual. Some might be caused by a third factor, and basically some of these Contrastingly, some factors almost certainly may attribute to the cause of postpartum depression, such as the lack of social support from family, friends, or anyone around them. Of these risk factors, though, however, formula feeding, a history of depression, and cigarette smoking have been shown to have addictive side effects, sort of thing. Not surprisingly, though, women with fewer resources indicate a high level of postpartum depression, basically, and stress than those women with more financial resources. Rates of PPD have been shown to decrease as income increases. Obviously, women with fewer resources may be more likely to have an unintended or unwanted pregnancy, increasing risk of PPD. Single mothers of low income may have fewer resources to which they have access while transitioning into the stage of motherhood. Studies have also shown a correlation between a mother's race and postpartum depression for race. African American mothers have been shown to have the highest risk of PPD at 25%, while Asians had the lowest at 11.5% after controlling for social factors such as age, income, education, marital status, and baby's health. PPD rates First Nations, Caucasian, and Hispanic women fell in between. Sexual orientation has also been studied as a risk factor for PPD. Basically, in a 2007 study, however, conducted by Ross and colleagues, lesbian and bisexual mothers were tested for PPD and then compared with heterosexual samples. It was found that lesbian and bisexual biological mothers had significantly higher Edinburgh postnatal depression scores than those that did the heterosexual woman in the sample. These higher rates of PPD in lesbian bisexual mothers may reflect less social support, particularly from their families of origin, and additional stress due to homophobic discrimination in society. A correlation between postpartum thyroiditis and postpartum depression has been proposed but remains controversial. There may also have been a link between postpartum depression and anti-thyroid antibodies. Basically, violence is another one that they looked into. Basically, a meta-analysis reviewing research in the Association of Violence and Postpartum to show that violence against women increases include the incidences of postpartum depression. However, about 1/3 of the women throughout the world will experience physical and/or sexual violence of any nature at any given point of their lives. Violence against women occurs in conflict, post-conflict, and non-conflict areas. It is important to note that the research reviewed only looked at violence experienced by women from male perpetrators, but did not consider violence inflicted on men or women by women. Further, violence against women was defined as any act of gender-based violence that results in was likely to result in physical, sexual, or psychological harm or suffering to women. Psychological and cultural factors associated with increased incidents of postpartum depression include family history of depression, stressful life events during the early onset of puberty or pregnancy, anxiety or depression during pregnancy, and low social support. Violence against women is a chronic stressor, so depression may occur when someone is no longer able to respond to the violence. Well, this quickly ends basically the risk factors of the postpartum depression. Can be like for thumbs up for support. Comment below if I missed out anything, or comment below if you feel the need or have to just to create an awareness and understanding for us all. Feel free to follow me on social media sites, AspieAnswersAll. Feel free to subscribe to my channel for daily, weekly vlogs. And all for today, guys. Thanks for support, thanks for watching. Do what you love what you do. Aspie signing out. I'll see you all again soon.